Hi everyone, it's Lavinia. Welcome. We are at day 31 of the Inktober 2025 challenge, where each day we have a Zentangle to draw. And this Zentangle for the last day is called IDOZ. And that stands for International Day of Zentangle. So what a nice way to end the month. So I have here, it's Inktober, so I have a variety of black ink pens. I have my graphite pencil, tortillon. I have my gum eraser. If you've been following along, you've seen how that has fallen apart, but just want to go ahead and use this up. It does the job, so that's fine. And if you have been following along, or if you are new here and want to go back and take a look at the Zentangles, I have created a playlist called Zentangle, so you can go right there and pick and choose which Zentangle you'd like to look at again. I also have my compilation page. So this is the area where I will be adding the very last Zentangle. In some empty spots, I have decided I'm going to add some fragments of these tangles. So for example, here, I know that I want to add one Oravox face here. And then I may extend the quandary along as well. So we'll take a look at that. So I think for the first drawing, rather than drawing it here on the calendar, because it is a little bit smaller, I thought I would show you how to draw it here on the bijou tile. And actually, let me go ahead and show you what the Zentangle looks like. So I started playing around with it. It wasn't coming out exactly the right way in my eyes. So then I redrew it and redrew it again. I added some tangulations. If you look at this one, you might recognize Shattuck in there. I have some orbs, some lines. I put letterish in here. I do have little Oravox in here, as well as some spirals, and then I just put like some small little V's in there and then some curly Q's. But this is quite actually a simple basic shapes. So it starts with just this teardrop shape or this leaf shape. So one is here, the first one is here, the second one is here, and then the third one is here, and then you just build, actually the third one is this larger one here. And so you just build upon that and then add the additional patterns. So I thought it would be easier to show you on the bijou tile. It's a 2x2 square, and I am going to start in pencil. So let's go ahead and, so here, just to break this one down, here's the main one. So there's one, there's two, there's three, and this one has 4 main petals. This one has 3. So you can put as many as you'd like. So let's go ahead and see here. So I'm going to start from one corner and come somewhat towards the middle. I'm going to draw it in pencil in case I want to do any revisions. And actually, sorry, let me come a little bit closer to the tile and we can break that down. Okay, that might be better. So there's the first one. And then perhaps the second one might be starting over here, going underneath. And again, that teardrop shape. And then I'm going to rotate my tile. Let's sort of follow along with this one. This one is tucking underneath those 2. So maybe this one comes this way. Oops, I'm so sorry. Like that. And then if I wanted to add another one from here, maybe that just goes that way and we'll come tuck over here. So let me go ahead and grab my pen. Let's see. So this is just a 0.5, and I'm just going to go over those lines. If I need to change anything, I will. So that's that first teardrop. And there's this one. This was our third. Maybe I'll have this coming out this way and come back. We'll see how that looks like. All right, and now all you're going to do is just add some side shapes, some side, almost like elongated C's. So I'm just going to, for example, maybe I will add the first one here. So it's coming up, bumping into that, and then curving on down. So this one here on this side would be doing the same thing. This one here. Then here on this side. So you're just going around those teardrop shapes and just adding those additional petals, if you want to call it that. All right, and then this one will be smaller because it's bumping up against this one that we had originally added. And then you're going to continue. So you can do them all at once on one side, or you can just go around one by one. And see already how pretty that shape looks. And you can fill this up as little or as much as you'd like. But you're always coming up and bumping up against that next one. So this will continue to bump up here and come on down there. Let me adjust the camera because I keep going off. Okay, that's better for me. And then this one might come on up that way and come on down. This little one, that one might be going off. Maybe just another little tiny one here, as well as there. Okay, and I think that looks good like that. And now the next thing you're going to do is on these main petals, so whichever one were your main petals, you're just going to come down a center line and then divide that in half. Like that. So that was one of the main petals. This was the other one. So just coming down that center line. Don't worry if it's not straight. I'm actually curving it to come down to the point. Then we had this one. So again, just a center line and then one on each side. And then there's this one here. Like that. So this is the essence of IDOZ. And then on this one, I just thickened up some of the lines. I added some orbs and a little bit of like some curly cues. This one here, again, I added shattuck, added those curly cues, added in one area these pearls that are sort of like tucked in, and these lines, it kind of reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors. And then this one I just did some little, I try to do like puffle in there, some swirly lines, and then as I mentioned, letterish, some spirals, and Auravox. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to leave this perhaps, well, let's go ahead and put in those orbs. I do like orbs, as you know. So I'm just going to start with the largest area, but I'm not creating the entire circle. I want it to look like it's tucked in these areas. So making it seem that it's tucked inside. And then just like that. And then where I have these little spaces, I'm going to ink those in. Like that. And then what I had done here is I just drew some stripes, sort of like going off to the side and then coming diagonally the other way. So that's how I created that tangulation. Okay, and let's go ahead and add those little curly cues, I think. I think that's a fun little addition. All right, so that is IDOZ. Let's go ahead now and see about adding it to the compilation page. I think I am going to start first. Let's see, we can always put this here as a reference. So going to start with that first teardrop shape. Maybe there's one, because I do want to fill up the space this way. Let's go ahead and turn this way. And perhaps this one comes on around that way. And we can add maybe a fourth one, as if it comes around this way, like that. All right, let's grab our, I'm going to grab my Micron PN pen. So this is the black one, black ink. And let's go ahead and ink this in. I may not necessarily be following the pencil line, as that's for a guide. Maybe that will tuck a little bit further behind the heart. Come down that way. I wanted to make this a little bit larger. Here we go. And then for this last one, let me see. Just want to erase some of these lines first, just so I get a better idea. I'm going to erase that one in its entirety and have this start a little bit further down here. Like that. Let's see how this turns out. So then the next step was adding these additional side teardrops. So I'm going to start here, bump up against that one, and come on down. Then let's go ahead and put this side one. And then this one. This will have one, it looks like it's actually going to start pretty much up here. Come down that way, underneath that mythograph. Like that. And then let's put this one in. And again, there's no right or wrong. Just however the pattern is, you'll just go ahead and fill it out. And see what magic happens. Maybe on this one, I will have this one come out first. There's no order. And you can put in as many as you'd like. And so this one was there, and maybe just put another one there like that. I think I'm going to add another one here. And perhaps another one here. And maybe one here. They don't have to be even in number either. All right, so we've got that. And now we're going to go ahead and add those lines. So this was my first one. I'm going to add that diagonal line. And then somewhere in between that, add that additional line. Split that in half. So I'm just imagining with my pen as I lift it, how that line would go and come on down. I think I'm going to add those little curly cues so I don't forget. Like that, and then this one here. All right, and if you wanted to add additional lines, you could do that. I do like the the orbs. So I am going to add that to the IDOZ. That in. Give it a little bit more line weight. We are going to shade this one. So as I give it more line weight, I'm going over those little orbs as well. And I do like those lines, so I am going to add those diagonal lines. I liked adding shattuck, so I think I will add that. So maybe here on this one, like that, and then we can have it going the other way. And if you recall, there was the straight shattuck, the curved shattuck, so whichever you prefer. And of course, you could always do a combination. There we go on that, very pretty. And let's see, I did some spirals in a few, which I thought came out really pretty too. So maybe I will add some spirals. So again, just looking at how it might curl around those lines. That. And I did add Oravox. Not sure if I will add that right now. Let's see, I also did letterish, but we could also add just some orbs around. So we could add a few orbs here, maybe ink in the rest of it, just to let it stand out a little bit. Then here in these areas, we can add a little bit of that ink. You can also have them morph together if that's something that you wanted to do. Again, we could add more striping. So a lot of different things that you can do to embellish. But I think for now, I am going to stop here. Let me bring this up so you can take a look. And then after I add all the other embellishments or fragments, I will, I will do another video on that. Actually, let me just show you about some shading. So let me bring this back down. So as far as for shading, this one is on top of this petal, so to speak. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of shading here. Then maybe have that shattuck seem to be within those teardrop shapes. And here as well. So let me know in the comments section what you think of this Zentangle. I think it's really pretty. And once you get the hang of really just the simple designs and shapes, the lines, I think you'll enjoy it. I have started to look up some other Zentangle designs so that we can continue in November. I don't know that it will be a daily Zentangle like Inktober, but at least 2 or 3 times per week. I do have my craft fair coming up, so I do need to complete some items that I'll be selling and making for the craft fair. All right, well, there we go, everyone. This was such a fun challenge and Inktober. Thanks so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.